two most important days of your life? The day you were born and the day you find out why.
You can have it all. You can do the things, but it's going to take effort, dedication, sacrifice. It's going to require the best of everything of who you are to make it work.
Welcome to another episode of MoJo Motivation,
the official podcast of AYM High Consultants.
I'm Fahim Mojawala.
And I'm Marty Johnson.
Because everyone needs a little Mo.
And a little Joe.
Today we are so excited. Do you love that? I love it too. To welcome Dr. Stacey Watt, a dear, dear friend, colleague, mentor, citizen leader, just an amazing human being, to our show, to our podcast. I'm super honored that she was able to free up her time. And we're recording on a Sunday, just so you know, like how dedicated she is.
On a holiday weekend Sunday.
On a holiday weekend Sunday, absolutely.
So, thank you.
So I've condensed her 4-page bio, which is still not enough, to a quick intro. And then Marty's going to finish it off. So the first part, Stacey Watt, MD, MBA, MHPE, FASA, is a pediatric anesthesiologist, executive leader, and consultant based in Western New York. A former top-ranked high school discus thrower and two-time NCAA All-American, her journey from elite athletics to medicine shaped her disciplined, servant heart approach to leadership.
Board certified and deeply committed to advancing healthcare systems, she blends clinical expertise with strategic vision to drive meaningful impact at local, regional, and national events. Beyond her professional work, Stacey is an active community leader, devoted wife and mother of two, and a proud Buffalo Bills, Sabres, and Bandits fan.
Welcome.
Welcome, Dr. Watt.
Thank you for having me. Here. This is a lot of fun. Very happy to be part of it.
Wonderful.
This is great. This is great. We talk a lot, you and I, you're a client, we're mutual mentors of one another. You're definitely a much better mentor than I am, but we talk about so many different things, and we talk about empathy and collaboration in the workplace, in the corporate workplace. And a lot of times that seems to be rare, but you still shine your light and have shown it for many, many years. I've seen you through your LinkedIn posts, through conversations with you, through lunches with you. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me. I absolutely wouldn't miss this for the world. And we've been friends. We've been colleagues. We've had, again, these great conversations about how important it is to not only rise yourself, but reach back and bring others with you, and not even just bringing them up, in your area and arena of expertise, but bringing them up into the arena that they want to be in. And that help can be in so many different ways. So again, happy to talk about servant leadership especially, but when you're really coordinating and connecting with people and you're learning more about them and learning how you can help them and how you relate to them, it's a total different level of really being engaged.
So many people think that to get to a higher place, get to the top, whatever your goal is, to reach success, that you have to do that on the backs of other people. And you have to step on them, you have to trample on them, you have to put them down, you have to be better than. But really, what will really bring much more success, much more peace, much more heart is if you, just like you said, you raise the water level. So everybody rises together. And then through that, you can find your specialty. You can find what really makes you shine among that. And it seems like that's what you're doing. And that's something that we try to show and try to teach our clients. But it's something that's, I don't know if it's against human nature, but it's against some of the culture that we're surrounded with.
It's a different approach to things.
Yeah.
And you're right. We are taught when you go into school that there can only be a certain number of A's, certain number of B's, certain number of C's, and there'll be a certain number of failures. And that's imprinted on us from an early age, that there's only a certain set that can succeed and outperform. And I'd love for us to get away from that. That's not to say that educators are wrong in any of that, because they're absolutely. People learn in different speeds and excel in different areas. I was great in science, not so great in some of the other areas. I won't go into what I wasn't great at.
I can relate.
It's all different. And if we can only get away from that, like only one could make it to that level. And I have been in countless boardrooms, lecture halls, everything where it becomes such a competition of only I can make it. I have to succeed. But the only way I can get there is if I trip you up, if I put you down, if I take you out of the equation, if I have a meeting without you, if I have a connection and I sort of maybe don't celebrate you in the way you should. That's a terrible way to live. Not only that, but it's a terrible way to behave. But also, you have to look in the mirror at the end of every evening. And if you can't do that and look at yourself and say, man, I did the best I could, but I didn't only do the best I could for me. I did the best I could for everyone around me. And I can tell you, it does pay dividends. It pays greater dividends than anything else you could do. I have had countless people that I've helped through the years that it has come back around. When I'm at a lecture hall or anything, they would come up and they would say something glowing. They would come and they'd put me up for some type of mentorship award or a leadership activity. Those openings happen because of who you are, the connections you make, and the person that you strive to be. And it really is, it's such a different way of life.
This resonates so much with conversations you and I have privately daily.
All the time.
I mean, we're
all the time.
We get faced with some jealousy, some bad behaviors by some other people just because we are doing our best to try. We won't go into too much detail, but we do face this kind of a negative attitude like, oh, you're doing great, so let's just try to hurt you or discount what you're saying or just, and it's
or find faults in you for being human, which is really pathetic because we talk about authenticity as being one of our powerful traits.
And I don't know about you, but I'm very human. I have plenty of faults, and I'm convinced yours are much less, but I'm sure they're there.
No, they're just as much. But we talk about imperfection being the new perfection.
It is.
Yeah, it's being human.
It's being human.
And if you let yourself be a little bit vulnerable, people not only will relate to you on a greater level, they'll also think to themselves, they're not perfect. I can do this too. And that's what I really try to get across to people that I coach or that I even mentor or I sponsor is you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be who you are. Yeah. And that will set you apart. Those things in being really authentic with everything about you, there's things that are spectacular about every single person. And it is using those things that are really amazing about you and you bring those to the table in their greatest sense, you're going to succeed. And you're going to succeed and be happier than if you faked it.
I want to talk about your new career, right? Like your new pin in the hat and feather in your cap. And I want to talk about swatconsulting.com. And before that launched, you and I had a conversation. The fact that you wanted to empower young men and women who are in athletics. And I want you to talk a little bit about that because first of all, Stacey came on the program because number one, it's rare to find, I wish it was not as rare, but it's rare to find someone who is as accomplished as she is and still so approachable, still, humble, hungry, coachable. She herself is like, okay, I'm learning every day, right? Full of integrity, enthusiasm, and intelligence, the 6 qualities that we look for when we bring people on the show, when we're hiring, when we're bringing them into our lives. So I saw that someone so accomplished, it's rare to have that because we see a lot of people who are like hashtag holier than thou, but they're not nearly as accomplished as you are. And they have these airs about them. So why did you get into this consulting thing,
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. That was really sweet. But I can tell you that when I first even thought about doing this, I had had an injury happen. So I had lost a little bit of the use of my shoulder for a while. And I'm not one to sit still. So I use that opportunity, as I do with everything, is what can I do with this time? What can I do to make myself, more whole, fill a gap in myself and do those things? Because we're always growing. We're always evolving. And this was an opportunity when you think back and you say, what things do I want to accomplish in my life? This was on it. I want to start something that could give back in a greater way and have this thing that I can do some good with. So I started taking coaching classes, and I thought, I do this every day in the operating room. I do this every day when I'm lecturing. I do this every day when I'm out, even all out and around Grand Island. They come up to me and say, hey, I have a quick question. Can I have a coffee? Can I talk to you? And all I thought is, absolutely. I'm always, sure. Absolutely.
Yes.
Great. No problem. Where do you want to meet? When can when can we do this? So when I first started getting into it and I took the classes and everyone was starting their own business, and I thought, well, maybe I can try my hand in that. Now, this is not to take away from me being a physician. I love what I do. I love taking care of people. Yeah. But this is something that sort of speaks to me as a person beyond the physician component of me. So I wanted to start this. But you'd be amazed at when I told a few people about I wanted to try my hand in this. Immediately, why would you do that? What really? Why would you want to do those kind of things? Is this going to replace you being a physician? Is this, a lot of not negativity, but doubt was brought forth. A lot of questioning. And all I kept saying to them is, this is something that's in me that I'm bringing forward, and that's okay. If it doesn't take off and it doesn't do great, okay, I'll try something else and do something great with my time regardless. I am going to continue to grow as a person, and I'm going to bring as many people with me as I physically and humanly can, because that's what I want to do. So this journey has been a super fun experience. I do learn every day. I knew nothing about doing posts or reels. I enlisted my kids, and let me tell you, I've gotten such amazing feedback from my kids, but also a little bit harsh. I'm not going to say which kid of mine, but, was very quick to point out what you doing. Even on when I was putting pictures up, I received a lot of editing advice from my kids. And to be honest, it brought us closer. It gave me some really good insight into what I thought was, I thought was good. They thought was, as one of my youngest said, I'll blow her in on this one. She's like, that's old. And I was like, okay, good to know. But you learn and you adapt and you use everything as an opportunity to grow. So it was truly amazing. And it's been a fun experience and role as I've gone through this. And again, you learn, you grow, you adapt. You take those parts that you've learned into you and you just keep going.
I love it. The two of you, I'm sure, connect over parenting quite a bit. I don't have children, but I had a business for many, many years and had a lot of younger employees who I considered my work kids, and we're still very close. They sent me a beautiful giant box of gifts for Christmas, and it's great. But we developed a closeness where they felt comfortable to be critical, but positively critical, and help me not only with technology. Honestly, I reached the age where I realized I help my parents now with figuring out their phones, and then I don't know how to work mine, so I would give it to my work kids, and they'd tell me, but they were positively critical with me, which really helped me grow. And I think that's a wonderful relationship that you can have. It's not, it's an open line of communication and an honesty. There's an honesty about it. There's something you were saying earlier, and I kept the word I kept coming back to in my mind was confidence, not ego. And there's a big difference between ego and confidence, right? We coach a lot of our clients when we're trying to get them to add a new service or grow a new service. So let's say specialty shipping, which is something we talked with a lot of our people about. The way to get that business is to be a specialist in it. It doesn't mean you know everything, but it means you want that business and you're going to put on that specialist hat. But it doesn't mean that that you feel like you're better than everyone. It just means you're confident in this one thing that you're doing and you learn along the way. It doesn't mean you know it all. And I just think there's a lot to be said about confidence, but a danger that it could turn into ego, which would then start putting other people down versus raising them up with you. And I feel like you exemplify confidence over ego, which is beautiful.
Now, I've learned, again, I can't say enough about how much I've learned from my kids, but I think this has also given them confidence to engage with me on a level of, I value their input. I value what they have to say. I want them to be part of this team that I'm growing. I want them to give their best to things. I want them to see what I do and to sort of encapsulate all those great characteristics that people embody and take them with them. so that they go out into the community and they can do good for themselves, for others, for, you know, the Grand Island community overall, and beyond that. I have one in the university. I'm like, go out and learn about the people you're with, but find ways to engage and to lift others up and be a cheerleader, but also be a supporter and be a great role model and be part of that. When they say about experts, it was a great thing that you said, because I have dealt with quite a few high-powered individuals that are experts in their field. And I can tell you that they have been disinvited to more panels and more discussions than I care to, you know, to share, because it is one thing, you're right, to be an expert. You take everything and you learn what you can, and you want to be focused on developing that part of your skill set and saying that I want to be a real good specialist in this, like in the world of anesthesia. I'm going to take everything I learned and I'm going to be as good as I can be. And I'm going to learn everything I can. And I'm going to share that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be part of me. And I'm going to take it into my armamentarium, and it becomes a tool that I can use to help others. It shouldn't be a tool that I hoard and then I put it underneath the desk and it's only, I take it out just to beat people with.
No.
And I've seen that so many times in so many panels that it's been truly sad to watch, because you watch individuals that they see this individual as someone they aspire to be. They get invited on either a panel or something else, and they think, wow, I'm going to learn so much from this individual. And the first thing the individual does that they're looking up to is beat them with the expert rod and start swinging. And it's terrible to watch, because
It's ugly.
It's ugly, and it's not necessary, but it's also, what are you doing? You know, you're supposed to be there to help others and to elevate, not to put down and say, I am the king or queen of anything, and say that, you know, I'm the best and you are not. There should never be that dividing line in any type of discussion.
Especially in anesthesiology, in any medical field, really. But that is something you need to share information, and you need to work with your peers. And I've mentioned this before, but I'm a cancer survivor. I'm 13 years now. But I had a very rare form of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. And when I was diagnosed, my oncologist, local oncologist, right away said, this is a weird one. You're going to Dana-Farber right now. You're going to Boston. We're going to get consultation there. So I went there, and just the collaboration between all the doctors, sharing information to find the best treatment, which was successful. It was hard, but it was successful. During treatment, my primary said, did you know that you are the topic of discussion on some top cancer boards right now? And I was like, excuse me? He's like, I follow them, and your case came up, and all of these experts are talking about it, because it was a weird one. It was a very aggressive one. And he's like, there's all these conversations trying to find the best course forward, and everybody's working together. And it just, I mean,
Yes.
You know, what, like, there wasn't a competition. There wasn't I'm going to take this on. It was,
they were saving your life, and they knew the responsibility.
And, because of that, I'm still here, you know, like I'm in bonus year 13, which is pretty cool. But
Marty always says that, and he's always humble about it, and he's very grateful. And we are honored, because if it wasn't that, we would have never met. So I met him, you know, shortly after. I didn't even know until a year into it, right? So we've known each other for 10 plus years. And so, but he always says that. I want to get into this segue of mentorship and accountability, which is what AYM High Consultants is all about. Had he not taken that treatment and fulfilled that with execution on his part, Stacey, that would have never happened, right? How important is it? The doctor can give all the medication and all the treatments and give all the instructions, but if you do not follow it, like Marty followed it, it would not have been such a pretty picture as it is now. So
it's very true. I see a lot of patients, and everyone thinks, well, in the world of anesthesia, like you know, what real touch do you have to people? And I said, I have the absolute best job and also the most challenging. At least that's my opinion. I have under 5 minutes to gain the trust of either a parent or someone. I have to learn everything about them. I have to assess the situation. I have to come up with a plan. I got to coordinate with my surgeon. I got to make sure the OR team's ready. And oftentimes this isn't under emergency settings. But to your point, when you talk about the team collaborative and sort of the mentorship and team building model, medicine is a great example of how this can work really well or really badly. In medicine, If the patient's not engaged and aren't taking their medications, following the instructions and doing everything, they put their lives at risk, and they make everything harder for the team who are trying to save them and help them. So again, it takes everyone to engage. When things turn out right, they are spectacular. Everyone wins. And I don't mean win, but I mean survives and does well, and they're healthy. And everyone, has that great feeling of a euphoria almost after a case. But I've also been in the opposite area where all of a sudden the team starts to argue, break apart. The patient's not engaged. They're like screaming at people, and the dynamics of families aren't supportive, and patients are left out by themselves. There's countless patients that I deal with that literally have no one there. They're there alone. And it's sad because you could see the hope is gone. And when that's gone, the survival rate goes down. And it's so sad. So I totally understand with that. But when it comes to a mentorship model, I see myself as one of the absolute leaders of that operating room. If I can't make sure that that patient is stable and safe for the anesthetic, for the surgeon to do what he needs to do, the team to fulfill their role of helping the surgeon, coordinate that activity, get everything we need, and safely transition them out of that operating room to a care team model, not only have I not done justice to the patient, but I could put everyone at risk. And I have to be at the top of my game. But also people are watching what I do, how I behave, how I carry myself, what I say, how I say it. And I have individuals that are coming up through medicine, and I want to make sure that they do the right thing by not only the patient, but the team that's involved. I want them to be the best shining example of what it takes to be an anesthesiologist, a physician, a team member, to serve individuals. I want them to follow the right path instead of following a path of, I hate to say it like this, but being a jerk in the operating room especially is sometimes celebrated. And I really don't feel that is what we should be, shining forth as like, this is the great thing about medicine. But it also has to do with being, with a consultant or anything that you do that puts you in front of people. People are watching. They're watching what you do, what you say, how you say it.
I love it. I just wanted to add one more thing, because we have a lot of people, Marty, especially, whether it's in our industry, related industries, or in small business in general, that are going to be watching and listening. And Seema gets this all the time. We take my wife on consult visits whenever there's women business owners. So we like to ask this for all of our amazing women leaders, because it really helps coming from you. How do you manage that work-life balance? How do you take care of that myth? How are you such an excellent leader in the community, an excellent leader in the workplace? And how are you such an amazing mom? I want to address it, because I that's how I see you behind your back. That's what I say to Seema and to my kids. Like, we see that, and thankfully my wife is that way too. But they'll tell you it's absolutely like next to impossible. And this is the question that a lot of the women ask her. So I'm asking you on their behalf to assist with that.
Happy to do so, because I can tell you that I'm fortunate. My husband is a stay-at-home dad, and it takes a lot of pressure off me to know he's at home. He's making sure that they're off to school. Granted, it's a little easier now that they're both driving. God help us all. But it's a different type of thing. But I can tell you from a personal component, I want to raise, the next generation. I want to raise my children to understand that you can have it all. You can do the things, but it's going to take effort, dedication, sacrifice. It's going to require the best of everything of who you are to make it work, to make it happen. And it's not going to happen if you're sitting in the couch. It's not going to happen, when you're, wasting your day. It's not going to happen those ways. It's going to happen when you're talking to people, when you're engaged, when you're out there in the community, when you're doing things, when you're learning. It's all those things, all those steps, putting yourself out there that you have to do if you really want something in this world and this life. And I hope my kids are listening, because, please, be more than what you are, or what you think you're capable of, because you can always do more and be more. And that's what, and people say, well, I'm not you. No, you shouldn't be me.
No,
my God.
You are you.
Yes,
but be the best you possible.
Right. Yes. And everyone has things inside of them that are special and unique, and talents and things that they can share. People just don't think they're worth, and let me tell you, please, you are. You are. Go out, learn, do those things, be that person that you want to be, because, but you have to take the first step. You have to do the things that you want to do. You have to put a little bit of vulnerability too. You have to share yourself. And it's hard. Let me tell you, it's been a learning process for me throughout my whole life. It's been my whole life of learning how to, to talk in front of people, to be that person to lead. It doesn't happen overnight and organically. There's no pill. There's no one crash course. There's no one thing that you do that suddenly sets you apart. It's a constant evolution of yourself that happens day by day, moment by moment, conversation by conversation, event by event. It's a building process of who you are. And we're all under construction, if you will. And I'm not going to be the same person I am 5 years from now. And I hope I'm not. If I am, I've failed. And I failed myself and I failed my kids.
I know. Oh, I just want to clap. Everything you're saying, I'm just like, yes. But you're hitting the nail on the head with it. Our podcast name is MoJo Motivation. It's all about finding your mojo, and everyone's is different. Every one of our guests is different. Every one of our clients is different. Yours is very different than mine, than Seema's. And it's also the first two letters of each of our last names, Mojawala Johnson. So it's kind of a fun play on words, cute, right? But your mojo is that thing inside you, that fire, that uniqueness, that special sauce that makes you you. And that there's no formula. There's no pill, as you said, and you have to discover it. Some people are good at discovering it. Some people might never really fully embrace it. Some people might be embarrassed by it.
I feel a quote coming on because, I have to have a...
Fahim has a quote coming on.
Every podcast is like, I feel a quote coming on. Naturally, I feel a quote coming on.
Come on, brother Fahim.
There's two most important days of your life. The day you were born and the day you find out why.
Ooh.
And that's what it's about. But we wanted to assist people find their why, get to that day faster than they thought. And I want to add, there's going to be a lot of, dare I say, naysayers listening to this. And we want to help them change their mindset, because without mindset, there's no motivation, there's no methodology. Mindset comes first. What about those people who are saying, but what if I fail doing what I love? What about failure? What about, right? All that. What do you say to those people?
Failure
right?
is
Especially the young kids.
Failure
I want to ask both of you.
Right. But that's great. Look at all the sports reels. And especially see the individuals that won the championships when they were first learning. Because I can tell you, no one did it perfect. And if you give up, you'll never know where you could have been. You could have been the next person that was on the top of the podium. You could have done all those things, but you didn't go through. And that's why I love coaching, and that's why I love the consulting work. It's sometimes everything can come within you and it just explodes and you've got it. I wish I had someone at my side when I was doing this, because I think the time frame would have been a lot shorter of how I developed it.
That's what we got into coaching.
Let me tell you.
Shortcuts to success.
Shortcuts to success.
It's such an amazing, empowering thing when there's someone beside you that's not telling you instructions, but saying like, hey, have you thought of this? Have you done this? Have you, or cheering you on.
Guide.
It's coaching. It's helping you develop into who you're meant to be. But it's all inside you. It's not something that someone's adding in or shoving into your body. It's something helping you bring it out within yourself and developing.
And just have the chutzpah to just start. One quote we say a lot is, perfection is the enemy of progress
and the best friend of procrastination.
It's the first part of that quote is an actual quote. I think Winston Churchill or something like that. But you've added the second part, and it's so true though. Like, so many people stall and pause. I mean, I'm speaking from major experience. You just don't get started because you are a perfectionist deep inside, and you don't want to show your flaws, and you don't want to be vulnerable. But just start. Be vulnerable. Show your flaws. Screw up. Make a misstep, fall into a pit. You're going to come out. And especially if you have a coach by your side, you're going to have a hand pulling you out and saying, okay, what are the red flags? Let's not do that again. Yes. Let's learn from the experience. I had a chat the other night with a friend of mine who I coach privately. And he was, just talking about some of these things, and there was a situation and he really felt like he failed at it. And I said, okay, well, take a lesson from it. How do you change your process to move forward so that you're better next time? And then take this as a learning experience, not a mark against you. And it just kind of helped the situation. So
it's reflect, learn, internalize it a bit, and grow.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do different next time? But also, tuck it away. You have now an invaluable jewel, whatever you want to see it as. What a great thing to build upon, and what are you up to next? So it's always like, where's your eyes going next? Like, where are you headed?
Yeah. One thing my mom always says, like when you do something, when you do the right thing or you do something good or selfless or whatever, she would say it's a jewel in your crown. And that was just her phrase. It's a jewel in your crown. But she would save that for the good things, but not, but if there was a bad thing, she wouldn't say, oh, I took a jewel out of your crown. Like that wasn't part of the formula. It was always adding to, and not focusing on the negative things. And every time, like, I don't know, my sister or something, I'll just be like, it's a jewel in your, it's a nod to my mom. And I think of that a lot.
I love that. I want to start using that.
It's building,
it's building
and not taking
it's
away.
Encouragement.
Yeah.
In the last few minutes that we have left, I want to get your final thoughts and final ideas. What do you want to leave the audience with, right? As an amazing mom, leader, wife, human being, right? What can we do for the next generation? What advice would you like to give them?
Well, for the next generation, start, take the first steps, try things, but go out there, meet people, talk, and computers are wonderful. They can connect you, but they can isolate you as well. Make sure you share also what you know and who you are with others. Don't wall yourself off because you think you're protecting yourself. You're hurting yourself. Go out there. You're not allowing yourself to grow and share your gifts. Yeah. And we all have them. Please find them. They're in there. You just have to uncover them. And sometimes you need someone to help you. Find that person, whoever it is. It could be a friend, colleague, mentor, mom, sister, brother, uncle's cousin's roommate. Doesn't matter.
Brother from another mother.
Right,
hey, be fair.
But whoever it is, even, and if it comes from inside you, even better. But listen, go out there, do your best. And also, though, take people with you. Learn together, and when you have a chance, I want everyone that's listening to this, please, go out and celebrate somebody else.
Yes.
Put them up for an award. Put them up for something. Ask for them to join you with an event. Ask them to come and join you on a panel. Come to this networking event. Come, go see these things. Hey, you know what? There's a position on a board.
Let's go.
Let's go. And bring them up with you because there's no greater feeling. And it will bring all of us up together.
Can I just add 75,000 amens to everything you said?
And I wanted to end with this because you mentioned your mom, and I want to mention my late father. My dad I learned this from my father, and Seema and I operate this way, but he used to say, and for those who are listening, they can't see me, but those who are watching, I always say this to people. My dad used to say, when done correctly, 1 and 1 is 11. It's exponentially. Now, this is for the exception is all those math teachers watching, but it's just when you're done correctly and when you are on a particular path, if you and your partner, your team member, your BFAM, anybody, if you are taking people with you, if you're parallel, you'll do so much more. You won't go 1 and 1 is 2. You'll go like exponentially to 11. And I just love that.
I love that.
And I think it's very true.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your time, your talent, your energy, your grace, your motivation.
Your light.
Your light. Your light. So let's soar.
Let's soar. MoJo Motivation is the official podcast of AYM High Consultants. Your co-hosts are Fahim Mojawala and Marty Johnson. Special thanks to Seema Mojawala and our producer, Ryan McCarthy. Learn more at mojomotivation.com or aimhigh.com. That's AYMHIGH.com.